Hi, hi, hi. Welcome. I also have a thing to read from, but of course, I'm not really going to go through this because nobody wants to listen to me for that long. But welcome to 421, to what is not really a culmination, but rather kind of an example of a lot of research, a lot of thought, a lot of really, really exciting conversations that we've been having with NYU, with Alserkal, but also with all of you here, and a lot of really, really incredible minds that unfortunately couldn't be with us here today as well. But this is the second, as Faisal said, and what I want to really highlight is how through all of these conversations that we've had, not only at the previous symposium, but also in between, in focus groups, in workshop sessions, in closed sessions, we've really started to change the way that we're thinking about how we want to frame performance. In 2021, in our first coming together, we came with an idea of what we don't want to be framed as. You know, we came thinking we are uncomfortable with indigenous practice. We are uncomfortable with being accessory to exhibitions, merely a public program and activation, etc. And I think when we wrapped up that first weekend, we realized actually let's start to reframe this into where do we want to go next. And so this kind of movement from stepping away to stepping forward has been very, very intentional. You know, these closed sessions that we've been having, these workshops and focus groups, have kind of generated a really exciting energy that I feel has been very unique in institutional partnerships. And it's like Faisal said, it really came from us having common questions that we genuinely were curious about, that we were all really excited to invest ourselves in. And I just have a list of some incredible things that happened or kind of were said in some of these sessions. And that came out of this trust that we were building in those sessions through multiple meetings, one-on-ones, focus groups, in-person meetings. But you know, someone said something yesterday about a very, very new iteration of a performance, that the artist used sounds as clay, shaping things like language. Someone else in a very new performance, and I'm only not naming anyone because the nature of our closed sessions are intimate in that sense, but someone else said in their performance that when I think of words, I think of invasions. And then someone quoted, if we don't tell our stories, we might disappear. So I think that's what we're all hoping to start doing today on a public stage. But I'm going to jump into a few practicalities of the program and of what is available to all of you today, because most of the really exciting things are going to happen with the panelists. We do have a multilingual program. So we are starting with an Arabic language panel. We do have simultaneous translation available to English and French. We also have American Sign Language interpreters throughout the whole program. The reason we also have French, which might be a question popping in everyone's minds, is that in our second panel today, we will have a speaker who will be using French. And so I suspect that every single one of you might want to get a hold of one of those headsets, but if you're an incredible polyglot, I salute you. In terms of the program, we are going to start with a very exciting panel that we intended to have to really position us where we are. We really wanted to start with what is performance in the UAE? What has it been going through? What is the context that it's been growing within? We're going to talk about performance in the 80s, performance in the 90s. We're going to talk about performance as of yesterday. We're going to talk about performances that are going to happen today. And from there, we're going to move to practice on a wider regional perspective. We are going to look at practitioners who use lecture performance, practitioners who use choreography, those who go through scholarly research, writing, pedagogy, installation, etc. And then our last on-stage panel will look at archiving. We're going to ask questions about curating, about documenting, about citation, about collection of performance pieces. And after our archiving panel, we are all going to have the privilege of a live performance by Nikhil Chopra, which we will all lead you to when the time is right. So I'm going to very briefly introduce the moderator for our upcoming panel, who is Reem Fadda. Reem is a curator and art historian who has organized many international exhibitions and biennales, especially those pertaining to art and geopolitics in the Middle East. She is the director of the Cultural Foundation, Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism. Previously, she was the associate curator, Middle Eastern art of the Abu Dhabi project at the Guggenheim Museum and the director of the Palestinian Association for Contemporary Art in Ramallah. And she served as academic director for the International Academy of Art Palestine, which she helped found in 2006. So without further ado, I would invite Reem as well as the panelists on our first panel up to the stage, please.